Hi everyone, and welcome to That's Wendy's makeup tutorial. As requested by one of my friends, Kim, I hope you're listening out there. We'll be talking about makeup brushes and their uses. I will be doing them in order of how you'd be using them, and I will try to also make a nice makeup look while talking about them. So the first step to doing your makeup is to apply a primer to help smoothen out and erase all the pores. And for a brush to use with that, I think you could use a foundation brush, but me personally, I like to use my hands instead. Next, after the primer, you would apply your favorite foundation, or you could go onto your color correction. But for today, I won't be using my color corrector. I will be going straight onto my foundation. I like to apply 2 pumps of my foundation on the back of my hand, and there are 2 choices to applying the foundation. You can use this brush here, which is called a foundation brush. It's like this shape and kind of thin. You can apply it like a paintbrush. The pros of this brush is that you can get into places where you need a finer point. While the other brush I wanted to show you is this brush here, which is flat, and it's more like a buffing brush, but it can also be used as a foundation brush. So you apply that much, and it's like you can cover a big surface in a short amount of time. The disadvantage with brushes when you're using them is that they leave brush strokes on your face, so with that I just like to go over with a wet sponge and just kind of blend all over. After our foundation, we want to use concealer, so today I'll be using my little pot concealer. And with these concealers you need either a little flat brush. You would need a little flat brush like this. It's got a circular edge and it's quite thin, and it can help to apply anywhere where you need to cover blemishes or where you need to apply under your eye. With this brush, it's not really good for like blending things out, so you need another brush or use a sponge. Brush does come in different sizes. I do have another size here that's a lot tinier, and we can use that later for when we're doing our brows. So like I said before, this brush, you can't use it for blending out, so I like to get another wet sponge and just kind of blend it out. The next step after this is to set your face with powder. So today I'll be using my little powder pot, my setting powder, and it's in the color of the translucent color. For the brush, you could use that brush if it wasn't wet, but because I've used it already, I like to use this brush here. It's called a tapered powder brush, it's got like a little, it's dense but it's quite soft. You can use this, or you can use this type of sponge which is flat on the bottom. I like to use that sponge because it picks up the powder, and I like to bake my face. Or if you're not really a baking person, you can use one of this brush and just lightly pat it on. Step is to, well, for me, I like to do my brows first. So we will need, if you're doing like if you're using a pomade eyebrow gel, forgot already. If you're using one of these, you will be needing a angle brush. So this angle brush has an angle and it is quite thin. You want it to be thin and sharp, not sharp as in as a knife, but you will be needing that to create nice straight lines with the shape of your eyebrow. So the one that I usually use is this one here, and it comes with a spoolie at the end. This spoolie is used to blend out the eyebrow that you have drawn, or you can use an eyebrow brush. This is what I've been using when I was probably 6 years ago. It has a dense plastic brush, plastic bristles on the end, and like a little comb here. I think this is good. This side here is like, I like to use it for brushing out my mascara. And this one, it kind of acts as a spoolie too, although the spoolie is in like this shape and this eyebrow brush is in this shape. So you could probably use this a lot better, but this one's more like it goes in between all the brushes, all the hairs, which is good. So I'm gonna do my brows. Now I'm just going to go in with that concealer brush that I used before, but I'm going to use the small one because that one's more for detail fixes. So I have my little one here. So the next step is to apply our eyeshadow. So the brushes I will be using are a flat eyeshadow brush. These are more to put on eyeshadow that's more compact. So if you want to pack on a color, this is a brush to go. Comes up like this, and just apply it on wherever you want it. The next brush that we will be using is this is called the flat shadow brush, or what is on the brush, it says it's a deluxe crease. I like to use this color to pack in the color into my crease, and it's quite smooth, so you can also use that as a little bit of a blending brush. The next brush that you can use for putting on your eyeshadow is a pencil brush. These ones are very pointy, very dense. This one here, or this one, they can be used for little detail parts of your eyeshadow. You can put on the inner part of your eye, like for when you're highlighting your eye. So what I'll be doing is applying a little bit of a sparkle on my brow bone. Of course that step should have been last, but anyway, we've done it. So next step is our eyeshadow blending brush. It's sort of like a pencil brush, but it's very fanned out and it's very soft, and it's great for doing little blending parts of your eyeshadow. With like little circular motions, and it just smoothens out the edges. With that brush we had on earlier, we were using earlier, the eyeshadow brush, I also like to use this for when I'm applying a bit of metallic on my eyes. So let's find one. So you get your brush on the clean side, of course. But it's there. So with that pencil brush that we were using earlier, I'd like to use it to kind of contour out our eyes a bit, or not contour, like darken the eye areas a little bit more. So I'm just gonna apply a color of choice onto it and apply underneath. Flat eyeshadow brush again, I'm going to apply the highlighter that I used in my inner part and just apply it again. So this part here is optional. I would definitely take the optional path, but if you do love eyeliner and you don't use one of the eyeliner applicators that already have like the little pointy brush in it, you can use a tiny angle brush. It's probably not what it's called, but right here is what you use to apply your eyeliner. So I'm just gonna try putting on an eyeliner. I don't have eyeliner pot, but what I'll do is use my eyebrow pomade. They're quite similar, and I'm going for a very natural colored look today, so let's see how we go. So I just applied some mascara and a white eyeliner on the bottom, what would you call it? Bottom eyelid, just to kind of enhance. And at this part you would be able to apply some lashes at your decision. So the next part is to contour your face a bit. So with this part you would need an angle brush. As you can see, it is very fluffy and soft, and it has an angle, which is quite helpful for when you're contouring the sides of your cheeks. So you just get a bit of your product, as you can see. You could also squeeze the brush a lot closer to become a very fine angle brush, so you can do your nose contour. So the next brush, and pretty much the last brush that you'd be using unless you use a highlighter, is your blush brush, which is what I'd like to call it. As you can see here, it says here it can be used as a powder brush or a blush brush. So I'm just going to apply some blush. And last is to complete the look with a little bit of highlighter if you wanted to. So I'm going to use the same highlighter I use for the inner part of my eye and the eyebrow, the brow bone. With this highlighter part, this brush I don't particularly like to use, but you can use this brush, which is called a fan brush. It's pretty much like a fan, and it says on the brush it's for illuminating, so you can use it for on your nose because it's quite a thin brush. And you can also use it similar to the angle brush that we were using before, and you can just dust it on there. Then apply your lipstick and you'll be set.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Gorgeous, make them drop.